Hello there guys, it's Stephen here, back with another episode of Club Footy. The first episode after the Premier League season has started. We all missed it over the summer. The World Cup was great, but the Premier League is where it's at. And we got to see our favourite teams in action. There was loads of talking points from the weekend. So today, we're going to run through the top 5 things that we learned. Don't forget, however, if you are new to Club Footy, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video, you don't miss some reviews, giveaways and all that kind of stuff over the next few weeks. And the first talking point is VAR. Yes, you thought you'd heard the end of it after the World Cup, but it reared its head once again this weekend, and not for the reason that you'd expect. It's not in the Premier League, and that for us was the main talking point. Now, there's been plenty of people who've got used to it over the World Cup, and a lot of people saying success. There were some people, like myself, and being honest, was a little bit cynical towards it during the World Cup, but you can't deny that it's helped certain decisions that referees wouldn't otherwise see. And after this weekend's games, there's a few calls for it to be introduced for next season, and most notably, it was for Sadio Mane's goal against West Ham when he was about 400 yards offside. It's the kind of decision that VAR was meant to be there for. You'd think if that was there, they would have picked up on that. Now, maybe it might not have made a difference in the end to the scoreline because Liverpool were rampant at this point, but that's the kind of stuff that referees and linesmen should not be missing. And it could have cleared up some of the controversy as well in other games. I don't think we're going to hear the end of VAR, and it's something that I suspect will be introduced in the Premier League sooner rather than later. We also learned that there may actually be hope for a post-Wenger Arsenal. I know it's strange to say that after they lost 2-0 against Manchester City, but there's no shame in losing 2-0 against Manchester City on any day of the week, never mind on your first game of the season in a new era with a new manager. Yes, they didn't win, and it's easy to say it's typical Arsenal and so on, but there was a different Arsenal on display at the weekend. There were some very encouraging signs if you're a gunner. In particular, it was the fight and the effort, and maybe they were a lot better defensively than they had been in previous seasons. It was a more rigid Arsenal, it was a more structured Arsenal, and maybe not quite as expansive and as free-flowing as they've been over the past 10 years, but it was an Arsenal that probably needed to be a little bit firmer, and that's what the Arsenal fans were treated to there. There was some promising signs as well from the young lad going Daisy in midfield, and obviously Lucas Torreira to get embedded into the team. We might see the Arsenal of old with a tough, solid spine through the centre. There was also some promising link-up play between Aubameyang and Lacazette in particular. That is a strike force that if it clicks, could score a few goals for the Gunners. Now, obviously, it's very much early days still, but it isn't all gloom and doom despite losing 2-0 to Manchester City. There could be a promising future for Arsenal still. Following up from that, the champions Manchester City, there was no sign of them easing up after last year's success. They're my team, and it was great to watch them back in action again. And I thought in general, Manchester City, well, they showed that they really do mean business. It wasn't a perfect display, maybe not as fluid as we come to associate with Guardiola's men last season, but they showed that they are a beast that very much wants to be taken seriously again this season. And despite numerous first-team regulars, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Vincent Kompany, Otamendi, and so on, they still had enough to put Arsenal to the sword. And it's going to be a very interesting season. They sent out a pretty ominous message that despite not being the fluid machine that we usually associate with them, they are not going to give up that trophy easily. And I'm sure Liverpool will have something to say about that. They showed that they really are Man City's closest rival this year. Obviously, Chelsea started the season with a win, and so did Manchester United, but Liverpool, they looked imperious form against West Ham. Now, you can only beat what's in front of you, and West Ham maybe could have been the perfect choice for them to play in their first game of the season, but Liverpool still looked great. Most impressively was Naby Keita in midfield. He had all the energy and the creativity and desire that you'd come to expect from the very talented midfielder over in the Bundesliga, and it was fantastic for Liverpool in midfield and showed that form that he showed in pre-season actually into the Premier League. He was lively, dynamic, fast, creative, intelligent. He will terrorise some defensive this year alongside the pace of Salah and Mane up front. And obviously Fabinho was on the bench still. We still got to see him come into the side, and obviously as well Alisson Becker in goal, their new incredibly expensive keeper. He didn't really have much to do. The future looks very bright for Liverpool fans, and I'm sure they'll be there or thereabouts come the business end of the season. And we learned it's going to be a very hard season for the new boys in particular. Cardiff slumped to a 2-0 defeat to Bournemouth. Likewise, Fulham lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace, whereas Wolves fared a little bit better, drawing 2-2 to big spenders Everton. Now, there's no shame in some of those results in particular. Cardiff maybe won't be happy, and they're going to be struggling this season. It seems to be that this could be a step up too much for them. But Fulham, Crystal Palace are a widely experienced Premier League team, and in general they play some decent football, but there's no shame in losing to a Wilfried Zaha-inspired Crystal Palace. Zaha was absolutely excellent and showed him the form that made him one of the most highly rated players outside the top 6 last season. Wolves in general, they were good, they were intelligent, creative, everything we'd come to expect from the Championship title last season, and on another day maybe they could have had the 3 points against Everton. But Everton's new man Richarlison was absolutely inspired form. It's going to be a very interesting season. Those two teams in particular, Fulham Fulham and Wolves play nice, intricate, attacking football. They're a breath of fresh air in the Premier League, and if they carry on that attitude, I'm surely some of those draws will turn into wins. Maybe they'd have the odd loss here, but you'd rather go for the 3 points instead of the 1. It's that kind of attitude that could save them from relegation, whereas Cardiff, it might be a lot more difficult for them. Anyway, guys, that's just 5 things that we learned from match day 1 of the Premier League. It feels great to have football back, doesn't it? Let us know what you thought of this weekend's fixtures in the comments below. And don't forget, if you are new to Club Footy, hit that subscribe button. I've been Stephen, and I'll see you next time.